Hi, I'm Walter Jopp. I'm CEO of Zurich Middle East, and we are here in our beautiful new offices in Emaar Square in downtown Dubai. Yeah, look, we're committed. We've got a 10-year lease on this. We've been here 30 years, Gary, and this is a testament to our commitment to the region, to the market. I think we've got to understand that in the UAE, the vast majority of the population are expats. Out of those, half would be Indian or Indian subcontinent. So it's a huge market, and for a company like Zurich here in the Middle East, where we will be the life insurance provider of choice, we need to access that market, and we need to offer products, solutions and services that are fit for purpose. So we work very closely with the NRI population and the NRI advisors to try and build solutions that are fit for purpose, and that they have nuances. Ultimately, at a certain level, Gary, the needs are the same. People want to pay for their kids' education, they want to fund for their retirement, they need to protect themselves and their loved ones. I think there are some nuances in this country where if something happens to the main breadwinner, the person who is sponsoring the family, and unfortunately that person passes, the family have to relocate. They have to move back, go, and that requires funding. So protection is a key need, and we're really well placed. So I'm Argentine, so although I sound a bit English, I've spent some time living in the UK, and when I finished university, I thought that I had this romantic vision of going back, and I went to Argentina for six, 7 months to try and see whether I could actually make a life for myself there. That didn't happen, and then I came back and I started working for an insurance company. So I started working for Eagle Star, and that was in the UK. I started at the very bottom doing quotations for sales guys, and then I've been doing this job for a little while. I wanted a company car, so I got into sales, and then somebody within the group found out that I could speak Spanish, so I get a phone call from the international business, which at the time was which is in the Isle of Man, still is, ZIL, and they said, you can speak a bit of Spanish, do you fancy going to work in Latin America? So I thought, well, fantastic, I'm in my late 20s, what a great idea, I'll get paid to go down there and have some fun. And we had some great fun, and that was in the 90s, and ever since then I've been in the industry all that time. I've been in and out of the international market, but I've worked for 25 years for Zurich, and I've worked in, like I said, 5.5 years I've lived in Miami, so we were running our Latin American operations from there. I've worked in corporate centre in Zurich. Prior to this role, I was in Hong Kong, so I was the head of market management for all our Asia businesses, and then I got the opportunity to move to the UAE to lead this business here, and it's a fantastic opportunity. So initially there wasn't a plan to go into financial services. I think that's true for a lot of us. But actually, once you get into it and you realise, and I genuinely believe that our industry does good. It does an awful lot of good. And actually, it could be better and it can improve, and I'm still passionate about that. But actually, and the more I get involved, I still have the fire. So I'm coming up to my 50th birthday now next year, and I'm thinking, okay, but I still every day I come in and I try and make a difference. I think for us, let's not forget that this hasn't been done in a year or 2 years or 3 years. We have had a licensed presence here in the Middle East since 1986 in Bahrain and 1989 here in the UAE. So we've been here a long time. It's been a long time in building. We have moved operations so that we are closer to the customer. So we have our support functions, our market-facing functions are all here. And we've got a great brand. Zurich is a company that can be trusted. It's got a great global reputation. We're serious. We're committed to the market, and we try wherever possible to do the right things. Sometimes we make mistakes, but we look to correct those things and give customers what they want. And we're continuously paranoid, because actually, when you hold this position, everybody's trying to have a little bit of the pie from us, and for them, they could double their business by taking a little bit of the pie. For us, maintaining that and maintaining all those bits, because we're getting, competitors are coming in, and I welcome good quality competition, because that keeps us paranoid and that moves us forward. But for us, we are very, very clear where we're going. We need simpler, more transparent products. We need solutions that are fit for purpose for this market. What's been achieved in the UAE over the last 40 or 50 years is truly amazing. You only have to look outside and have a look, the infrastructure, what's been built, the city, the country, and the country's evolving. It's starting to mature. One of the things that the UAE government is trying to do is try to ensure that people who have the right means can actually stay here for the longer term. If they have the right qualifications, the right education level, and they can bring some to the country, the government has actually recently launched some longer term visas. So normally you would have a 1, 2 or 3 year visa depending on the type of role you do. Now they're talking about 10-year visas, and that is all about trying to create a society that's here for the longer term. It should then allow people to plan longer, to invest in property, to stay and to make a life here in the UAE, which is fantastic. Everybody is kind of got hooked on IA12 and the latest iterations of that piece of legislation. But actually, regulatory evolution has been happening for the last number of years. So there is continuous change from the regulator to actually move the market on. In terms of that specific piece of regulation, it's going to provide greater clarity, it's going to provide some standardised rates of return, it's going to require that the advisory community have a certain level of education, and like you say, it will change the way that commission is paid. Now, all those things is things that have happened in other markets, and Zurich is well placed. We've already lived those in other markets around the world. We've already been changing our product set and our systems so that we're ready for when that change happens. And I think for the advisory community, some of the advisors will have to rethink as to how the finances within their businesses work and how those are funded. But actually, anything that creates value for the advisor in the longer term, and so that the customers are serviced properly and there is an incentive for the advisor to grow the wealth of that customer or to provide the right solutions over the longer term, is something that I fully support.